I welcome you all of you to the session. Today we are going to see the pros. First pros is first flight. Is first flight. Flight, you know the meaning of flight, flying, which is about a seagull. So before going into that, let's see the author note. So author is the Liam O'Flaherty. Actually, he was born 28th August 1896 in Ireland. He was an Irish novelist and short story writer. So he was considered as an Irish literary renaissance. And also he worked as a soldier, West Front soldier in the period. He got injuries and he got retirement from the service. And he spent most of his time in traveling and lived comfortably and quietly. So at the age of 88, he died 7th September 1984. So this is about the author. Now let us see the glossary of the lesson. Ledge. Ledge means narrow shelf that just jets out from a vertical surface. So it means very steep. For this antonym, broad, wide, we can use it. Shrilly. Shrilly means producing very loud noise. That is called shrilly. So antonym whispering, talking very softly. That is called whisper. Herring is a kind of fish that swims in a large group in the sea. Only it could be found out in the sea. Devour means consuming lot, eating lot of things eagerly and in large amounts so that nothing is left. So at the antonym, it should be starve or famine. So emitting, vomiting, these could be the antonyms. Cackle means it's a noise by goose or a seagull. That is the sound of the seagull or goose. Mackerel is a sea fish with a strong taste, often used as a food. It's a sea fish. Gnaw means bite, chewing something repeatedly. That is called gnaw. So antonym swallow. Trot to run at a moderate pace with a short steps. So walking slowly. So running. Antonym could be for running fast. Precipice is a very steep side of a cliff or a mountain that is very, very steep. Steep it's a high part of the mountain. Wet means very making sharp. So antonym blunt. So preening is cleaning feathers with beak. Cleaning it is feathers with beak. So beak we know, the part of the bird. So like a mouth. Plaintively, sadly calling in a sad way. It is very in the sad mood, that is called plaintively. So antonym cheerfully, happily, like this. Swoop means move very quickly, easily through the air. So very fast. Antonym could be lazy. Beckoning making a gesture with the hand or head to encourage someone to approach or follow. So antonym discourage. So that's all about the glossary. Now let us see the gist of the story, as outline of the story. The story which is about a young seagull who has fear to fly on the very first time. So seagull, actually where it was on a ledge. Already we know the meaning of ledge. So which was on a ledge. His parents and siblings had flown away. But seagull afraid to fly. He did not fly. So he could not gather up the courage to fly also. So he was left alone by his parents and by siblings. Siblings means brothers and sisters. So until he would fly. His siblings had flown all away, even though they had short wings. So brothers and sisters had only short wings, but they flown away. Whenever he tried to fly to come, he failed to gather up the courage and he actually stood back on the ledge. So he failed to gather up courage. His parents came around and made a call to come out and made a shrilly. It means making loud noise. But it tried, but it never attempted to fly because of the courage, because it does not have the courage. So almost nobody had come near in 24 hours. Parents were teaching to his brothers and sisters how to fly and skim. Actually, he found a mackerel piece at the mackerel piece of tile in the ledge, on the ledge. That was found in the ledge. He just achieved that. His mother, actually at the time, his mother came there tearing with a fish. So when he looked at the fish, immediately he got something tempted to looking at the food. So he tried and food. Mother brought it near the seagull. So the sight of the food made the seagull become very mad, because the seagull did not eat for almost a day. So it made the seagull to dive at the fish. When it dived at the fish, so automatically his wings opened and started flying. Finally, it made the first flight. So this is the gist of the story. Actually, what the story conveys, what is the theme conveys? We should have the courage to face up everything. That is the main theme of the story. So we should remember, we should have the courage to face everything. So that is what is required. The main theme of the story involves in this. So we should have the courage to face up everything boldly. So remember it. It is. Remember that. Don't afraid of anything. Don't afraid of anything. You face everything boldly and commandingly. So that will help us to come over with success. So that's about the outline of the story. Let's see the lesson in detail. The young seagull was alone on his sledge. His two brothers and sister had already flown away the day before. He had been afraid to fly with them. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way down, miles down. He felt certain that his wings would never support him. So he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge, where he slept at night. The young seagull it tries to come out of the ledge, and which tries to fly. But whenever he tried to fly, but he got afraid. Why he got afraid? Because of looking down, that there was a huge vast of sea was there. So he could not gather up his confidence and to fly them. So whenever seagull tried to come out of the ledge to try to fly, but he could not gather up his courage. Even when each of his brothers and his little sister, whose wings were far shorter than his own, ran to the brink, flapped their wings, and flew away, he failed to muster up courage to take that plunge which appeared to him so desperate. His father and mother had come around, calling him shrilly, scolding him, threatening to let him starve on his sledge. Unless he flew away, but for the life of him, he could not move. But siblings means brothers and sisters, had already flown away from the brink, and also they started showing their wings, but their wings all, when compared with the young seagull, that was very shorter, but the young seagull wings were very long, but he could not fly because he got a fear. He could not gather up the courage. Mother came near and started calling, giving loud noises and making him to come out, but he never tried. He just starved for their life. That was 24 hours ago. Since then, nobody had come near him. The day before, all day long, he had watched his parents playing about with his brothers and sisters, perfecting them in the art of flight, teaching them how to skim under the waves, how to dive for fish. Almost 24 hours ago, before, nobody had come near to him. Nobody, it means brother, sister, father, mother, no one had come near to the young seagull. And also it watched, so how the mother and father teaching them how to fly. So I want perfecting them how to catch the fish. The father, mother were teaching to the brothers and sisters. So he had in fact seen his older brother catch his first herring and devour it, standing on a rock while his parents circled around raising a proud cackle. And all the morning, the whole family had walked about on the big plateau midway down the opposite cliff, laughing at his covered eyes. So, and also he just saw the very first time, older brother caught a herring fish, and that he started eating that. He was just watching. Okay, that. And the morning, whole family of walking on that plateau. So opposite the cliff, and everyone started laughing, looking at the young seagull. The sun was now ascending the sky, blazing warmly on a sledge that faced the south. He felt the heat because he had not eaten since the previous nightfall. Then he had found a dried piece of mackerel's tail at the far end of his sledge. So the sun was now ascending. So it's coming out, blazing, the warm. The sun was very warm. And the ledge also faced towards the south. So he had not eaten anything from the previous night. Then he could find out only the mackerel's tail. Mackerel is a kind of fish. He could find only that fish in his sledge. Now there was not a single scrap of food left. He had searched every inch, rooting among the rough dirt-caked straw nest where he had his brothers and sister had been hatched. So he could not find any food over there. Only he could find out the food that was the dirt-caked straw. It's come the paddy waste that could only found, and also he could find something hatched. He even gnawed at the dried pieces of eggshell. It was like eating a part of himself. He tried to achieve that, but he felt like eating himself. He then trotted back and forth from the one end of the ledge to the other, his long grey legs stepping daintily, trying to find some means of reaching his parents without having to fly. He trotted back, going in and out, and he tried to come in. But whenever it stepped out, but he became he could not fly. But he wanted to reach his parents anyhow. So without flying, because of not taking any food, it felt unconscious little bit. So, but on each side of him, the ledge entered in a sheer fall of precipice with the sea beneath, and between him and his parents there was a deep, wide crack. So he tried to reach his parents, but there was a very deep crack, so he could not reach without flying. Surely he could reach them without flying if he could only move northwards along the cliff face. But then, on what could he work? There was no ledge, and he was not a fly. And above him, he could see nothing. The precipice was sheer, and the top of it was perhaps farther away than the sea beneath him. So he could only, if he tries to walk, he could reach, but he could not. He never tried. There is a very precipice sheer. He could see that was beneath him. That was really pathetic. He could not go there. He never tried. So we have to try before doing any kind of work, any sort of work. The initiation is very important. So if you start well and you can end well like that. He stepped slowly out to the brink of the ledge and standing on one leg with the other leg hidden under his wings. He closed one eye and then the other. He pretended to be falling asleep. He tried to stepping out of the brink and it started like a sleeping. Okay, he just showing to his father and mother that he was sleeping. They took no notice of him, but they never noticed. He saw his two brothers and sisters lying on the flat dozing, with head they sunk into their necks. His father was preening the feathers on his white back. Only his mother was looking at him. So brother and sister were sleeping. Father was cleaning his feathers. Only the mother started looking at the young seagull. She was standing on a little high hump on the plateau, her white breast thrust forward. So she was standing low hump on a plateau where it was breast thrust forward. And now and again she tore at a piece of fish that lay at her feet. My mother was having a little piece of fish. Actually, she was trying to tear it. And then scraped each side of the beak on the rock and also scratching something on the using her beak. The sight of the food maddened him. How he loved to tear food that was scraping his beak now and again to wet it. So he just made his beak to sharpen, to tear the fish. When he looked at this, the food maddened him because of the hungry. He uttered a low cackle. His mother cackled too and looked at him. Started slowly, the mother replied back. It also made a loud sound, low sound, not a loud sound, low sound made it. Ga, 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 he cried, begging her to bring him over some food. So the sound gave ga, 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 bring the food. So ga, lo, ah. She screamed back mockingly. So the reply also given by his mother. But he kept calling plaintively, and after a minute or so he uttered a joyful scream. His mother had picked up a piece of fish and was flying across to him with it. So suddenly the young seagull showed a joy. Why? Because his mother brought some piece of fish near to the young seagull. So that made him very happy. He leaned out eagerly, tapping the rock with his feet, trying to get nearer. Or she flew across, but when she was just opposite him, abreast on the ledge, she altered her legs, hanging limp, her wings motionless, the piece of fish in her beak almost within the reach of his beak. So, but she never went near to the young seagull. That was almost close, but never he could touch her. He waited a moment in surprise, wondering why she did not come nearer, and then maddened by hunger. So the young seagull started getting surprised, wondered why my mother did not bring the food near to me, and also it made become maddened. He fell outwards and downwards into space. His mother had swooped upwards. Suddenly he fell outwards and downwards into space. His mother had swooped upwards. As he paused beneath her, he heard the swish of her wings. The monster terror seized him. His heart stood still. He could hear nothing, but it only lasted a moment. The next moment he felt his wings spread outwards. The wind rushed against his breast feathers, then under his stomach and against his wings. He could feel the tips of the wings cutting through the air. Finally, when he dived for the fish, automatically his wings opened and started flying across the wind. So we have to initiate. We should not get fear of anything to do any work. So we have to initiate. We have to start. We have to do that. So like the young seagull, initial attempt he failed to do that. So when he started doing very first time, there was a huge fear suppressed him, but anyhow he came out. Okay. He was not falling headlong now. He was soaring gradually downwards and outwards. He was no longer afraid. But now he did not afraid of anything. He just felt a bit dizzy because he felt unconscious because he did not eat anything. He flapped his wings once and he soared upwards. He uttered a joyous scream and flapped them again. He soared higher. He raised his breast, banked against the wind. Ga, 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 galo, ah. His mother swooped past him, her wings making a loud noise. He answered her with another scream. Mother started crying, giving noise, and he also started giving reply to the mother. He answered her with another scream. Then his father flew over him screaming. Then he saw his two brothers and sister flying around him, soaring and diving. And the father also came near. Now brother came near, sister came near. Then he completely forgot that he had not always been able to fly and commenced to dive and soar and shrieking shrilly. He forgot that I could not fly. So once he started, then he forgot that I could not fly. He started diving and soaring, rising, flying and giving noise, loud cackle. He was near the sea now, flying straight over it, facing out over the ocean. He saw vast green sea beneath. There was a green sea beneath him with the little ridges moving over it. He turned his beak sideways around and crowded amusedly. So he started, looked at around surprisingly. His parents and brothers and sister had landed on the green floor in front of him. So everybody landed before him. They were beckoning him, calling shrilly. So making loud noise, they started calling. He dropped his legs to stand on the green sea. Finally, he just landed. His legs sank into it. He screamed with fright and attempted to rise again, flapping his wings. Once again, he tried to fly, but he was tired and weak with hunger, and he could not rise. Exhausted by the strange exercise. This was a very first time, so that he became exhausted. He became so tired, he could not see. His feet sank into the green sea, and then his belly touched it, and he sank no further. Okay. His belly touched it, and stood there. He was floating on it, and around him his family was screaming, praising him, and their beaks were offering him scraps of dogfish. He made his first flight. So his parent and brother and sister started giving the food. Is finally made first flight. So what is the lesson says? We have the courage to do any right work. We should not get fear of anything. So we should have the confidence to do the work. So without confidence, we cannot do any work. So you need the confidence and courage to do the work. So before doing, you have to initiate the work. So you must have the courage. So gather up the courage before starting the work. So and gain the confidence also. So if you have the diffidence, then you could not achieve anything. So you should have the confidence. So have the confidence and do work. Okay, start the work doing properly. So once if you begin perfectly, then it will end perfectly. So no hesitation to initiate. We have to initiate it perfectly, and then automatically we will complete it. That is the message conveyed through this story. His first flight, written by Liam O'Flaherty. So that is the message conveyed. Thank you so much.